Hey y'all, Gravity, any day above ground living. So you already know what to do. Share, like, and subscribe. That's right, share, like, and subscribe, because I'm not like other YouTubers. I'm different. Who you see in the thumbnail and on the video right now is Lawrence B. Jones. Now, he is a Fox News host. Started off as a contributor. And now he looks like he's poised to become Tucker Carlson's replacement. For those who don't know, Tucker Carlson lost his job last week. Some people say they mutually parted ways. Whatever. They needed somebody for that Monday to Friday 8 p.m. slot. And it seems Lawrence B. Jones impressed enough people. They're going to give him the opportunity to run with it. Now, it's Fox News. Shout out to Tori and Rain. But, you know, for all intents and purposes, we do want to see this brother shine. I think some of us. Me, I don't have a dog in the fight. But, you know, kudos to him for making an impression, for them to take a chance. But the reason I'm doing this video was not to laud or criticize what he did. I'm actually going to begrudgingly defend him because somebody came outside and had a problem with it. And I'm looking over this person and why they had a problem with it. And we look down the rabbit hole and I got some questions. And my overall conclusion is I don't think you're qualified to be speaking about this, which is why I didn't reveal the person's identity on the thumbnail. But we're going to go to real time and I'm going to show you who it is. All right. So now you see the person's identity. Dr. Carol M. Swain. Now, I saw this tweet Tuesday morning when I woke up. And let's just tell the truth. I've heard her name before, but I never really delved into her as a person to see what she's about. They say she's a political scientist and entrepreneur. Shout out to you for that. But this tweet was way too much. So let's go over it. So she wrote, retweeting and quote tweeting Newsmax and their story saying that Lawrence Jones was picked as Tucker Carlson's successor. Okay. So it said, I'm sure Lawrence Jones did not ask to be used as Tucker Carlson's temporary replacement. Given Jones' age and experience, it looks like a race-based affirmative action appointment that allows Fox News to virtue signal. Is Fox News following the Biden administration example of stoking division by placing identity politics above merit and experience? I wonder. This sounds like something Roland would tweet out, but I don't even think Roland would be stupid enough to tweet something out like this. He probably would. I wouldn't know. He blocked me, so it is what it is. But of course, people came for her. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. That includes me. I am assessing this in the context of the current DI ESG environment. Part of the problem is how badly Tucker Carlson was treated. And as you can see, here's my tweet that I sent to Queen Bee. Then she wrote another tweet saying, it looks like we have a healthy debate taking place. My remarks were meant to be a critique of Fox News and how I thought this would play in the current political environment. It's quite possible that some of the other possible fill-ins are declining because of the politics of how Tucker was treated. It is likely that Jones may bring new viewers to the network. Some of us are not ready to tune in out of curiosity. Why didn't you just say that as your initial tweet? You sat up there and your first tweet was taking a shot at this man. Now, again, people in this thread have been saying he's been putting in work. So he deserves the opportunity. But you're trying to say this is a diversity hire. All right. Whatever. So I said, okay, let's look down your history. So what I uncovered. I'm going to need y'all to go get a bucket. So we're going to have a little bit of an intermission here. And when we come back, we're going to show you her history. All right, y'all, we're going to start on Twitter with this. Now, I went to go look up Dr. Swain's history. And I'm going to save the best for last, but we're going to start here because it seems like she doesn't want to see black people succeed. So this person tweeted out, Dr. Swain has unintentionally put a spotlight on the harmful repercussions and legacy effects of affirmative action. Specifically because of affirmative action, blacks will always be second guessed when it comes to qualifications. I hope this helps to galvanize the end of affirmative action. Here we go. So it's blacks. We're not people. We're just the blacks. All right. So this person came back on them and said, nope, because of racism, you will use affirmative action to question a black man's qualifications and never a white woman who benefits from it as well. Now, again, this is in the same thread that I showed you earlier. Then I said, okay, there was something else in there, but I'm going to save that for last again. So I went over to her Wikipedia page. And as you can see, political party. So from when she was politically active up until the 2000s, she was a Democrat. Then became an independent from the 2000s to 2009. Then became a Republican from 2009 to the present. Okay. That's your right. You could switch parties all you want. And she's also had criticisms of Obama, which is fine, whatever. She also said that George Bush should write a letter saying that slavery was wrong and he should apologize for it on behalf of, let's just say, white daddy. We'll just say it for that. But unfortunately, she was pissed because Obama was the one that did it and she didn't want that. Excuse me. Well, you're probably asking yourself, why should we really care about what she says? I mean, this doesn't seem like something that would warrant you to do a video. Family, when I show you this next portion, you're going to understand why I did this video. But we got to go back to real time. Y'all finna love this. Via the Tennessee Star, Carol Swain doesn't believe reparations helps race relations problems in America. Let's see what she said, shall we? This was back in 2020, because you know everybody had to come outside. We're gonna skip all that stuff. At the top of the third hour, Michael Patrick Leahy and Swain discuss reparations and how one could calculate that with many people who are descendants of immigrants from other black countries. They're not included, but okay, that includes me. Swain added that she didn't think reparations were the answer and thought it would only worsen race relations in America. Leahy said, I'm having a good time this morning with our all-star panelist, Carol Swain. Carol, I don't know if you watched Tucker Carlson last night, but there was a segment on Tucker on 2 different films. I don't know if it was a setup or not, but it had a young black man walking around New York City, and there was a young white woman there, and he said, I want you to kneel down before and beg for forgiveness for the systemic racism in the U.S. And she did. I don't know if she just did it or if it was a setup. And there was this big video. Breitbart had it as well. There were about 200 white people in Bethesda, Maryland, where they are a bunch of guilty rich white liberals. There was a big group there. All of the white people bent down and begged for forgiveness for the systemic racism in the United States. So here we are in the studio. You are a black woman and I am a white man. Carol, because I am a genealogy buff and I've looked into your genealogy, right? We've been looking for that man, Thomas Jefferson, who was your great-great-grandfather. We don't know if it was the Thomas Jefferson, but maybe a descendant. We're still working on that. We do know that your great-great-grandparents were slaves in Virginia. We also know that my great-great-grandfather, Anders Bouvier, owned 1 black slave in the 1790 census. So my question to you, Carol, is do you want me to kneel down before you and beg for forgiveness for the country's systemic racism? Swain said, you don't need to kneel down before me, but I will gladly take my reparations. Laughter. Okay, so I have my wallet out here and I have money in the wallet. So how much reparations do I owe you, Carol, for the fact that my great-great-great-great-grandfather, who owned one slave in 1790, and your great-great-grandparents were slaves in the western part of Virginia back in Bath County in the early 1800s? Swain said, well, we would just have to sit down and negotiate it. Leahy, do you favor reparations, by the way? Swain said, I have spoken about reparations for some time, and no, I do not believe it would solve the problems that are affecting black people. And at this point in history, I think it would worsen race relations. All right. Leahy, I completely agree. You see the guy that founded BET Entertainment, who is worth about $3 billion? He's a black guy named Robert Johnson. Why the hell are you bringing up Robert Johnson in this conversation? Let's see. Maybe he'll explain it. Yes. Leahy, he wants the United States government and American taxpayers to pay $14 trillion in reparations. Now you see why he brought him up. Swain, let me tell you this, Mike. Every time there has been a riot, we can go back decades to even the 1960s. It is always followed by demands for money. Usually the government responds by doing something. We got affirmative action out of the riots of the 60s, but that was never targeted specifically to blacks. By 1970, there were 5 different groups included, and women were included from the very beginning. And whenever money comes into the community, it never reaches the poorest of the poor. The elites benefit. Leahy chuckles. And that's the problem with affirmative action. It benefits elites and never addresses the problems of the poorest of the poor. And I think that a lot of the inequalities that we see today, that it can be traced back to a moral problem. It's not going to be addressed by giving people money. It's problematic. And I think that with reparations, if you were trying to compensate the descendants of slaves, it would be complicated by the fact that you have blacks that are descendants of immigrants. It would be very difficult. Again, this was in 2020. Not going to hold all of it against her. But ma'am, they've already told you, if you have people that were born here that you can trace back to when slavery was still legal, you're entitled to reparations. That does not count immigrants that came over here after slavery was abolished. Y'all know that, but you're doing this to conflate the argument and confuse people. We're not doing this. Let's continue. Leahy asked, how would we determine that? I guess 12% of the population of 300 and some odd million would classify as black, right? So we're looking at 40 million people, right? Swain said it includes immigrant blacks. And so whenever money is being given out by the government, see, here you go. Leahy asked, you mean from like Jamaica or Kenya or whatever? Swain said, so more people would identify as black to collect the money would be problematic. It would not address the problems we have in America, and I believe it would worsen race relations. Again, so you think everybody's just going to change their race to black to get free money? That's not how it works. But again, this is what they do. Conflate the argument. Leahy said, I don't think it would help. Swain said, no, because everyone is suffering right now. Leahy said, under that, I'm asking this. Would I owe LeBron James reparation under that? Chuckles. Swain said, well, that was always the problem with affirmative action. The children of the most affluent blacks were the ones that got the free rides to colleges and universities. Okay, so you've seen that, family. You've seen that. And you've heard me read that. All right, I know that was a lot of information, family, but we gotta make sure we're thorough here. Now, I did skip over the fact that she wrote a review for a racist DVD called A Conversation About Race by some guy named Boddicker. And then the Southern Poverty Law Center went after her. And she was forced to defend herself via the Huffington Post. I'll leave the link in the description box for that. But my overall thought is this. Ma'am, it's Fox News. Shout out to Torian Rain. That's all it is. Us down here in New Black Media, we'll watch Fox News when it's convenient for us if we're doing a story or we need to cite them. But by and large, we don't watch Fox News. We know they have a slant, just like MSNBC has a slant, just like CNN has a slant. We here in the New Black Media, we're trying to get our people right. Now, if Lawrence B. Jones wants to take that initiative and become the new Tucker Carlson or the new Lawrence B. Jones, again, kudos to him. Do your thing. Let's see if he succeeds. But for you to go on there and hate on that man, that's out of line. Because we know damn well, let's just say for shits and giggles, family, that Harris Faulkner was given that job. Do you think she would have wrote that? Maybe. But we know the criticisms would have come of the black woman who got a primetime TV slot. We know the conversation would have been radically different. This wasn't cool. And you should be ashamed of yourself for putting out a tweet like that and then trying to walk it back because people were eating you up in the comments. As a black person, there's certain fights you don't fight. Let that man have it. He worked for it. Let him have it. That's all I got to say on this. Let me know what you think down in the comment thread and in the live chat. But anyway, I'm going to get up out of here. You already know what to do. Share, like, and subscribe. That's right. Share, like, and subscribe because I'm not like other YouTubers. I'm different. Take care. Stay safe. I'm out.